Someone commented that my intros are becoming ridiculous, but I like them, so they stay.
Hello YouTubers, this is a noobifier. I started a new playlist and series, Community Concerns, because I have more time to research. If you missed past week's installments, this is a playlist that could be started much like a podcast when you're stuck in traffic or you're doing something else like bathing your children with tomato juice after they were hit by a skunk. Consider bookmarking it and checking in every once in a while to get caught up to date with what the community is talking about. And if you find this fun, please do me a favor and share it with friends or orc-mates because that helps a lot. Today is the 10th of May 2022 and there have been weeks without entries in this series, mainly for the lack of interesting concerns from the community. And this week is all about one word, and it starts with B and ends with EdSheets. Seriously, what did you expect, CIG? Post an update about that when you're doing a bunch of other things, not when it seems to be the only thing, right? This is coffee barista all over again, but whatever. I try to do these on Tuesdays and I try to choose threads that are well presented and have a good banter back and forth. It's up to you to comment your comments here in the comments to let me know how I can tweak this new segment. Let's begin with the threads, bedsheets. As I said, Chubba asked what many of us are thinking, seriously, R&D for sheets, and they're disappointed. Chubba said that they don't feel they're alone when they say, who cares? They feel that it's a waste of time and demonstrates that the leadership is making silly choices. Ledidius said that they needed to check the calendar because at first they thought that this was some kind of sick April Fool's satire. Captain Fano speculated on how much time was being wasted at CIG with these types of details, and then others went further to speculate that once the sheets are done, some part of the team would have to do the lighting for the sheets, and then another would have to do the textures for this new asset. Some commented, what's next? Bedwetting technology? Right? Anyways, let's hope that was a joke. And then another person said that they would have to also send a team to work on the UI so that you could interact with the sheets. And then what would the options be? Wash? Make bed? Like, where does it all end? And why are we talking about it? I'm going to summarize the entire thread by saying that there are two basic sides. First, there are those who say we must be very close to release if they're working on bed sheets. And second, there are those who say we must still be years away from release if they're only now working on bed sheets. Is it super important to worry about bed sheets? No, I don't think it really matters because either the game's going to come out soon or it's going to come out years from now. And because we don't know anything about the timelines, nothing's changed. It's just bed sheets. If you'd known we would be in 2022 with no public release date, would you have backed when you did? Do you feel that sheets are just one of many unfinished features, or do you feel that this is the last thing before we get the game? Comment in the comments. Next. Deep Impact wanted to know if VR was still planned for Star Citizen, and Asmos simply said that it was, and I don't even know why they would bother to post that, because how would they know? They're not a developer. They're just like everyone else. Developers, when asked this question, usually smile and giggle a little bit and then answer that yes, they want to, but that work hasn't been started on it. It was an obscure stretch goal to add Oculus Rift support from 2013. Oculus isn't even a company anymore, and the Rift isn't being made anymore. I say that only to highlight how, if Asmos is referencing that stretch goal from 2013, they should perhaps rephrase their answer to include a less definitive answer, right? Be less concrete. Renovate posted a hilariously optimistic answer that was, by the time the game is ready and shipped, we won't even need VR, which implies, or at least how I read it, is that something will be even better than VR when Chris is done. Some posted a link to some sketchy how-tos that show how to port VR into the game, but that was all the way back from 2015, so that's not helpful. Some wanted VR for flight only, as they do understand the limitations of moving dismounted in VR with such a complex title. I'm a big fan of VR, but I personally feel that this and the way the player input model are make it simply incompatible. Flight only, sure, but as soon as you get out of your ship, no. Comment in the comments. Sir Gara wanted to know, or more specifically asked, if it's not cold in space. They wanted to know because they said that they're a little bit confused why they would freeze to death at -50 on Microtech and not instantly die at -270 in vacuum. It made no sense to them and they wanted answers. This thread was the perfect opportunity for all of the internet finest laptop scientists to have a saber waving contest to see whose digital saber was the biggest. And somewhere in all of that saber measuring, the correct answer was posted, and that was vacuum. -50 kills you in atmo because of thermal conductivity of the atmosphere. We know that CIG is adding and perfecting what they're calling the room system. The room system takes into consideration pressure, volume, temperature, and the composition of the environment. If that room is vented into another, they blend, and a planet-sized body is simply treated as a planet-sized room. This is one of the many features that are being added to the game that keep me very excited, as this system plays off of player status system, otherwise known as stamina, with its food, drink, wear and tear, health, and injury. It's all tied together into a big simulation, and that's freaking awesome. You feel the cold because the heat is moved away from your body. In a vacuum, you could technically overheat even at -270 if there was nothing to take that energy buildup away from you. This is why vacuum flasks are so effective at keeping coffee and soup hot and cold liquids such as nitrogen from boiling instantly. I highlighted the thread mainly because it was a very fun read with a cool story, and it reminded me of all of the cool tech that I'm interested in Star Citizen. Next. Ti-Fi asked for predictions that we would see at this year's Citizencon keynote. They said that since playing 3.17, they observed many broken mechanics that still need work, and they said about making an exhaustive list of what they feel that we could see this year. And I'm going to preface this entire thing by saying that their list were actually on the 2020 and the 2021 list from archived lists of the noobifier and enemy contact discords. Anyways, they wanted more Quanta with Tony Z this year. They want improved MFDs. They want to see jump points and pyro. They want to see server meshing, hacking, and base building. And there were some other things on that list. But the most voted post was from Surera, and they said that they felt that the OP's list was highly optimistic, and they offered their predictions. They felt that we won't see anything to do with Squadron 42. They're sure that Theaters of War isn't a thing this year. They do agree that Tony Z will provide another PowerPoint presentation about Quanta, and that Chris might make a 10-minute speech about things that we already know. All of that does sound super salty and pessimistic, but having seen these shows come and go each year, Surera is more likely accurate than just trolling. So I'm going to leave the subject, but I'm going to ask you, what are your realistic expectations for Citizencon 2022? Do you feel that we're going to see a big change in the game, or are we in a holding pattern beyond 2022? Comment in the comments with your comments if you wish to comment. Next, Blue Wanderer wanted to know what pre-alpha means. What does that even mean? They're confused and they want clarification. After 10 years of working on it, they felt that calling it pre-alpha made it seem as if it would still be 10 or 20 years in development. They wanted to know when we would be in alpha and wanted a civil discussion so that the topic didn't get instantly locked. Liludius said that CIG hasn't actually called it a pre-alpha for a very long time, and even my memory, it went all the way back to when 2.0 was launched in I think 2015 or 16, that the company actually made a big deal about the baby PU being called an alpha 2.0. Perhaps this confusion is more to do with what the backers are saying rather than the company. Many people referencing videos, posts, and links, and to be honest, none of it was from CIG, so it might be fun if we actually got an official answer from the company. Are we still in pre-alpha? If so, what does that even mean? Or are we and have been firmly planted in alpha since 2.0? That's it. That's all I could muster from this week without going crazy. Thank you very much for your support. Share our videos with others to spread the word. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.